right away, I was telling Vegas this morning that I said, I remember watching you when I was younger, and I had the hugest crush on the guy that he played with that was really well known, which was Mike Bibby,
Oh.
right? And so that was the era where he was playing, and it was always, you guys were like 3A player of the year, right? Or something like that.
It was the all
And
Arizona
another
team,
native girl
and
was too, Natalie Diaz.
oh yeah, I forget about Navi.
That was
Yep,
all the
down.
same year. hmm So
Oh dang, okay.
that whole time that you guys were playing, like that was the only reason why I played, which again goes back to like representation matters, right? Like if you see
Hmm.
a native that's playing, then you're like more likely like, oh, he did it and she did it, so I guess I could do it too, you know? Hey, welcome to our second episode of the REZball series for REZponse Roundtable. So today we're going to be talking about all things REZball and how that relates to Indigenous culture. We have some amazing guests, both men and women, talking on a panel about their experiences with basketball.
The NABI Foundation hosts the largest all-Native American high school basketball tournament in the world and the NABI Educational Youth Summit.
NABI Foundation hosts over 1,300 Indigenous youth from 300 different communities all around the world, including Canada, New Zealand, Samoa, and the US.
The NABI Invitational will be held next year, 2021, July 11th through the 17th in Phoenix, Arizona. So we'll see you there.
For more information, please visit our website at www.nabifoundation.org.
How has basketball shaped your life? Like, how has it impacted you?
Oh, basketball has been a huge outlet, I think, for our family. And my sister, she played at Old Dominion, and she's well known for basketball and what she's done with it and where it's taken her. But yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, my dad would tell me, if you want to go to college, go dribble that ball. And people ask me now as an adult, like, what's one piece of advice that you were given when you were a kid? I mean, my mom taught us to be kind and compassionate and those sorts of things. But I think that him telling us that, like, he couldn't pay for our school. And back then the tribe didn't pay for our school. So it was like, okay, how are we going to do this? So it was like, you better go dribble that ball if you're going to go. And that just took us so many places.
Well, for me, I just love to play basketball. I just like how I can forget about everything and just like play. But for my family, I think they just like seeing me play and like how everyone else plays with me and how I think it's just a chance for them to get together and it's something that everyone can talk about because basketball is universal, so everybody can talk about it, and it's played the same way everywhere in the world. So I think it's an amazing sport.
I played at ASU and U of A, and at each place there was a group of Native Americans that kind of came up to me after the game like, I mean, this was the funniest because I never, since being at Irvine, I don't think I've seen fry bread being made ever. And so playing at ASU after the game, I see a family out there like, hey, you were at NABI, right? I was like, yeah. Like, oh, can we take a picture with you? And as they were coming up to take a picture, they each put down their fry bread with honey on it. And I was like, okay, so that's what we do out here, huh? We all have fry bread and we all start laughing. The coaching staff and some of my teammates didn't understand. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, you wouldn't get it. So I mean, I don't ever feel the pressure of representing. I feel like it's an opportunity given and something that almost has to be taken advantage of instead.
It's a lot. I mean, basketball's my outlet. Like, it's my therapy, honestly. I remember it was 2 years ago when my grandma passed away. And then I hurt my ankle, so I couldn't play basketball. It was like the worst time of my life because I couldn't it was like, what was I supposed to do? I was just sitting, and then it sucked too because I was on the side of practice. I was just watching everyone. And I was just like, but yeah, it's like, it just gives me a reason to like get up and like get active and for my family, like my mom grew up playing. My dad, actually, that's how they started, like, you know, as like a tournament. That's when they first started like kind of seeing each other in a different way. And here I am today. But yeah, like it's just a way to live. It's a lifestyle.
I feel like REZball, some style of play, it is really life, because that escape, you know, component that we all talk about with REZball and kids who have these traumas at home. And I think some of the stories are kids who are in foster care, or they don't want to go stay at that house, so they'll stay at the courts as long as they possibly can. Or one of their parents just used their whole paycheck at the casino, and they're taking it out on that kid, and they don't want to go home. So they're there playing, one more, wanting to win so they can stay on the court.
Yeah, you know, for playing, you know, I was able to, you know, to earn scholarships and to, you know, use basketball to get to school, pay for school, things like that, right? Where my parents weren't tripping, my parents didn't, you know, have to worry. I was able to, you know, to kind of just grind and you know, get on my basketball journey. And I think we all have one. Again, like you said, Josh, was stories, you know. It's important, you know, that we tell those stories. You know, I grew up in hearing about the stories. I grew up about hearing about all the players, you know, from the West Coast scene, you know, but more so just the history kind of the tournaments and of that time, you know. So I always choose to highlight, you know, the storytelling and documenting that, you know. So that's kind of what my basketball journey has been, is teaching to kind of like, you know, like to find a passion and then really to honor that, you know, really teach those two terms, is like to honor your passion, honor our passion, like what is it, you know. And so that kind of creates like a medicine, right? Like that kind of creates something from within that we can kind of control. And so for me, that's kind of what I teach when I train. You know, my little program is or my philosophy or ideas is hoop medicine. And that, you know, if you honor our only passion, like hoop is, you know, can mean a lot.
So my family breathes basketball. Both my parents played in high school, including my mom, and my older sister Madison. She played, and I think I just copied everything she did. So she started playing basketball. She picked up a basketball, so I just followed suit, and I fell in love with it. And then from then it was like AAU games, year-round basketball. And then in high school, I tore both my ACLs. So that's why I didn't play basketball when I went to Montana. And then I was like, you know, I'm not using my knees as an excuse. Like, you dreamed of playing college basketball, like go pursue it. My sister did. So I just went.
It's been the ultimate teacher for me. You know, not having your father there to teach you, you piggyback on your coaches to teach you. You know, my director right now, he says Mr. Lewis, he only wants to hire athletes because we will wake up at 5 a.m. in case of an emergency without saying, oh, I got to do this, I have to do that. Because after playing basketball for so long and playing in tournaments, after playing at 10 at night, and you got to wake up and you have the first game, that means you got to get your body ready to play early in the morning.
Like you're talking about, like these kids who, you know, stay out till past dark playing ball because, you know, like they might have a hard time at home, but like the ball is their outlet, and like that's how they deal with their trauma, and that's how they get through stuff, is playing ball. And I think what goes on to that, right, like these skills that we learn that basketball teaches us, like those are the skills that we carry throughout our life.
So that was kind of the reason NABI was created, was to serve like as a tool to, I guess, show that there's more to basketball, right? You know, it's part of our culture as Native Americans, and it's kind of like what we do, it's what our kids are gonna do. And so, you know, this whole thing was created based on that. And it was a way to get kids recognized. You know, when I grew up playing ball, I was never taught, you know, there's recruiters out there, there's people, you know, you can play college ball. I was never told any of that. So that's kind of like one of the purposes of NABI. You know, we want to get our kids recognized. We want them to go above and beyond. You know, we want to get them out of the community, go to school. You know, and what's great about it is like we're using it as a teaching tool, not just for natives, but like non-natives, right? We have to like teach non-natives that we're still here. You our communities are still here. And it's been great, like with how NABI has evolved and how big it's gotten. We have documentaries out there on us, and it's so amazing to hear from non-natives like, oh, I didn't know you guys were still around, I didn't know you guys still existed, which is like pretty crazy to hear. I'm like, yeah, we're here. And right now we have over 300 tribes represented at our tournament every year. We have over 1,300 kids that come to our tournament, and I've recognized over the years since I started with NABI that more and more kids are being recruited by colleges. So it's always great to see people who play ball and they're coming back to their communities. So that's so amazing.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we made REZponse.
Yeah.
Like this YouTube series is a part of that.
Yeah.
So
That's the great thing about like what you're doing with NABI and what NABI's done, because we know what it's like now off the reservation, right? I mean, because we were put on the reservations. Right now, we've made it a beautiful thing, not because of the reservation. It's because our people are beautiful people. The culture's beautiful, but they put us in that box, and all of this was ours. So we can flourish outside of it. So what you're doing, and you're saying, hey, it's okay to come off the reservation because our roots are here too. Our ancestors lived here too.
There's not that many basketball players in college right now, or even throughout the years we've been steadily growing. But I feel like just getting the opportunity to be that face and kind of be one of those people that are in sports right now, to have people see that they can do it too. It doesn't bring pressure as much as it does just bring joy in playing and knowing that whatever you're doing, there's people out there that are supporting you.
I think my parents put more pressure on me than anybody else, but at the same time, because it's just a lot of pressure from my mom, because she's from here and I'm in Thailand, so everything I do dictates how people see me, how I represent myself. And now that we've had this first tournament and people have seen me play now, but I think the support from my dad's side and our side it helps me content myself a little bit more, just because I have people who support me, and knowing that people are cheering me on from across the world, it helps me just okay, Lila, you can do this, just calm down.
When you get to the college level, everybody's just as good as you. They're pretty much on every college team is someone who is the best at their school or in their region or in their conference. And now you got 10 to 15 guys that are just as good. Now you're playing for a spot. So, me coming from a small town again, and that type of caliber of players, it was, you had to show up every day.
REZball is kind of I don't know, man. I think at one point was kind of maybe looked down upon, right? Like that term. And but yeah, I think within the community and within the basketball community, basketball being so big for Native, we kind of are a part of that, a part of history and a part of basketball being kind of represented and presented, as a sport.
You have fun with the old intertribal warfare, that pride of my people beating your people, and there's no more killing and there's no more animosity. We tried to have that once, and we had this mentor, a good man, and he said, you guys don't do that. After this, when you're done, he's like, definitely go hard on each other. Don't take it easy, but when you're done, you're others. And that old man said, you guys continue to buy into that. You're stronger when you're together. So a lot of my best friends are different tribes, and that's what REZball has done. And that's why I feel like it's a life giver, it's a connector, it's a bridge builder.